Today we're plunging into Adi Mahi. It's a graphic novel pitch, blending, cutting-edge science with family life pressures and this really chilling global conspiracy.
Right. And our mission for you today, we want to explore this rich setting, introduce you to the brilliant power couple at the heart of it all, understand their challenges, personal and professional, and then, yeah, reveal these unseen forces pulling the strings, especially through Chapter 8. Get ready. It gets remarkably intense.
Okay, let's dive in. First, the setting. Sonaforosa. This place isn't just background noise. It's this prosperous port city in India. Ancient roots, but super modern now. The name means turquoise gold, which is pretty cool.
And it's incredibly diverse, economically speaking. You've got shipbuilding, massive ports commercial, cruise, even a spaceport, plus hospitals, R&D hubs, a nuclear plant, and a top-tier R1 research university. So, yeah, deep history meets like the absolute cutting edge.
Exactly. And it's the perfect stage for Adi and Mahi, our power couple, both in their early 30s. Adi's a particle physicist, PhD. Thinking about, the universe's basic building blocks, Mahi, genetic scientist, MD, PhD, focused on the code of life itself.
And they both come from these really influential Gujarati families. History and business, civic stuff, academia, raised as only children, quite grounded, but also really driven to help people.
Yeah, and how they met is kind of sweet. At Navratri, the festival, shared values, similar backgrounds, just clicked. They've got a little daughter now, 15 months old, Marie, after Marie Curie, which fits, right?
Totally fits. They live pretty comfortably, too. Multi-unit bungalow built by Adi's parents' full-time nanny. Before everything changed, they'd been recruited by the Scientific Research Division. Good motives advancing science, but also, let's be honest, a hefty paycheck for a good life.
But here's the turn. They accidentally get superpowers. It's a huge physical transformation. Suddenly they look like athletes in their early 20s. Peak condition. Mahi even cuts her hair short, gets a scar, a constant reminder.
And it messes with their intimacy, too. They'd just gotten back on track after Marie's birth, and bam, this happens. What's really fascinating, though, is watching these two brilliant scientists try to figure out their own bodies. It's the ultimate unknown, Adi, the physicist, Mahi, the geneticist. And they're forced to rely on each other because their training just doesn't cover this.
Right, and that immediately sparks conflicts. Huge internal strain. They lose those high-paying jobs. They're stressed about finding new work while recovering from this thing, trying to explain unemployment. It's just massive mental overload.
Yeah.
Creates this real disconnect between them.
Yeah, and that disconnect gets amplified by how they think scientifically. Mahi's very methodical, precise, diagnostic doctor and geneticist, right? Adi's more intuition-driven, hypothesis testing on the fly. So she thinks he's maybe careless sometimes. He gets frustrated. She can't get clarity faster.
Yeah.
Big friction point.
How do you even approach something like this scientifically when it breaks all the known rules? And then the biggest thing, maybe, Marie's future. This new life, being first responders, it's incredibly dangerous. They're terrified one of them might not come back. What happens to Marie then? It's a constant source of fear and friction.
Okay, so now let's shift gears. Chapter 8. Being watched by the forces unseen. This is where it gets really dark. We learn about the supersetters, a totally secret, ruthless cabal of criminal investors, faceless, operating through shell companies. Nobody knows they exist.
And their plan is, ambitious doesn't even cover it. They want to be the new masters of the universe, not just controlling resources, but prime locations. They're actually accelerating climate change's negative impacts, planning to then reverse it later on their terms.
Their methods, just insidious, financing corrupt politicians, triggering large-scale disasters, epidemics, destruction, mass death, all part of the plan. But the ultimate goal, get this, creating a crock of patented human beings, hardy, reliable workers.
Patented humans. What does that even mean?
It means infusing nanoparticles into their DNA, engineered particles, to make them skilled, curious, but also docile. The perfect workforce to explore space, exploit the universe, colonize planets, all for the Cabal's private game.
Wow, that's silly.
And all their previous attempts failed. People died. They think maybe the nanoparticle mix was wrong, or the experimental intensity wasn't enough, or maybe people just subconsciously resisted. And here's the kicker. The explosion that hit Adi and Mahi. Not an accident.
What?
Nope. It was premature, part of their experiments, even though the specific nanoparticle cocktail they wanted wasn't ready yet.
Okay, wait. This is getting even darker.
Oh, it does. The most disturbing part. The Cabal knows Mahi had a chemical pregnancy, basically a very early miscarriage because of that explosion, and they analyzed the surgical waste to study early signs of this nanofusion.
They did what?
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
Absolutely. And their immediate goal for Adi and Mahi now, claim them as property. They want to reverse engineer their nanofusion, figure out the exact formula how their bodies integrated the particles so the Cabal can replicate it in their labs for, well, whatever they want.
So they see them as lab rats, as
Uh,
intellectual property.
Precisely. Their strategy is to normalize owning machine-like humans. Start local healthcare, farms, prisons to kind of lower resistance, then get their corrupt politicians to create the legal framework. Right now, they're just watching Adi and Mahi, studying them from afar. Strengths, weaknesses, waiting.
So what does this all mean for you? We've got this incredible mix: scientific genius, deep personal struggles, family life, and then this absolutely terrifying global conspiracy that sees people, literally, as things to be owned and engineered.
It really makes you think, right? In a world where these unseen forces want to control not just land or money, but our actual biology, what boundaries are even left? And how can Adi and Mahi possibly fight back against a threat this insidious, this hidden, while just trying to raise their daughter and figure out their own powers?